not going to use video book, and there's a lot of reasons behind that with how grading happens and licenses and all that. So I have to go with titanium. They'll be random. It'll be timed. So the questions, I think, in a nutshell, will be very similar to what you saw in exam 1, because it'll be the same, different subjects, of course, but the same type of look and feel to the questions. Does that scare you, or does that make you feel better? I still can't see my chat, so I don't know why. Huh. So yeah, I was able to pull up my chat window. If we study the terms, yeah, I think so. Adriana, to your question, I think so. I'll give you the study guide in a week in advance, and I think you'll be fine. A week in advance. Having said all that, let me show you everything that's changed on our view for our class, okay? Have you guys had a chance yet to look at our class page for all the changes?
Yeah, I saw some.
Yeah, are you seeing our class page right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I added a new syllabus. I changed all the assignment due dates. And I added a section down below for your Zoom lecture right here. I found out that I don't have to issue a whole new Zoom invite for every class, or every Monday, every Wednesday. I can use the same. So I figured out a way to do that. So I'll keep it on our homepage, and you'll be good on that, right?
Okay.
So every time we have class, every 1 o'clock, Monday and Wednesday, all you have to do is pop that in your browser window, and you'll be good. Everything stays the same. Also, in the same section, I'm going to post the recorded versions of our classes, because I know that a lot of people can't come. Things are kind of weird right now. I really appreciate those of you who are signing in every time. I think it's important. School will go on, and we need you here as much as possible. But having said all that, I know things are happening out there and things are crazy. So if you can't make a session, then I'll have the recorded version. Unfortunately, I thought I had the recorded version for Monday's class, and I can't download it. So I'm going to instead, I'm going to put the recorded version of my 8:30 class, which is the very same class. So I'll put that out there instead. Going forward, I hope this works for the recordings going forwards, but this is where you'll find it. Now, off to the left, I don't know if you guys see this. I think you do. You have the calendar section, right? And when you pull up calendar section, it shows you our class in a calendar view. And you'll notice that I changed the deadline right here for checkpoint for our group marketing plan. So that's due midnight this Friday. If I scroll over to the April, look what happens in April. You got April 8th, and you can just hover over it. And did you guys even know you had that capability?
Yes.
No.
You should have it off to your left, and that's where LinkedIn is due, right here. Come down here, April 22nd. That's where Marketplace Live Simulations due. I pushed that back a week, and I pushed back our group marketing plan to the 29th. I think it was the 27th, so that was only 2 days. I'm pushing them back as far as I can without getting into trouble with me having to get grades in time. So I'm going back as far as I can. But what this means to you is you've got a heavy, heavy April coming up. This is going to be a lot in April. What I would suggest, and we don't have class Monday, right? Everybody knows that?
Yes.
Because school is basically shut down from tomorrow through next Tuesday night. So you know, as much as, and then you got spring break, as much as possible, start working on those projects. Start getting your market simulation done, your group project, because April's going to get pretty hairy, for lack of better words. And I think this is a real good time while we're going quiet here. Let's just say we're going silent. You guys know you can always email me. I'll always be here, email, but use this time to get together with your groups. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. So what else did I want to show you on our page right now? Well, I think that's it as far as our home page. Any questions so far? You want to shout it out?
What's the deal with the iClicker?
Ooh, good question. I tried it out today on my 8:30 class and it worked just fine.
Awesome.
Having said that, I learned that I have to launch it on a top of an application instead of my PowerPoint. So it's not your problem. I just had to figure that out because I can share an application or I can share my screen. And the only way you'll see it is if I share my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in today's class, and we're going to test it out. No points on iClicker for this week, but when we come back, I'm going to test it out with you guys today. I'm going to launch it, and when we come back next Wednesday, we should be able to be moving forward with it. But let's practice it today, okay?
Is the group project checkpoint the one that was due Friday? Is that delayed or is it still due Friday?
The checkpoint was delayed from, it used to be today, and I've just moved it to Friday by midnight. That's just the checkpoint, which is a high-level overview. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
So when you say Friday by midnight, do you mean like Thursday and then it becomes midnight, which is technically Friday, or like maybe we turn it in like 11:59 p.m. on a Friday before it becomes midnight, if that makes sense?
Yeah, 11:59 on Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you guys think you're in an okay position for that, for just a high-level overview?
It's basically an outline, right?
Basically an outline. Bullets, very high level. I mean, I did ask you if you could. I did ask you to write out your executive summary. It doesn't have to be everything, and you can change it later.
It's one submission per group, right?
Exactly. Exactly. One submission per group, but on your cover page, tell me full names of everybody in the group, so I so I know how to give points. Now, let me look at this a minute. I'm going to screen share out our syllabus. Are you seeing it right now?
Yes.
Yep.
So it's not a lot of points. If I go down into the points section, I think it's what, blow it up a bit. I think it's checkpoint. There it is, 10 points. Yippee, right? It's not a lot of points, but it's just a way for you to get feedback on where you're going. Does that make sense? What else let's look at our syllabus a little bit. Let's look at what's changed. If you haven't had a chance to look at our syllabus, here it is. And this new version is on our course page, so don't worry about that. So here's where we're at. We're going to have no class on Monday, right? Checkpoint. I'm going to talk a little bit today about pricing exercise and some things I think will help you on your project related to pricing in Chapter 19. When we get back, We're going to have one class next Wednesday on marketing communication. And the reason I put pricing in chapter 15 ahead of the other chapters is I think you need that for your group project. It'll really help you. So that's why I kind of moved that up. When you get back from spring break, then we're going to go right into a practice session for exam 2. And then April 8th is when we're going to have our exam 2. I moved it till after spring break. Because to do it on titanium, it's a lot of work and a lot of reformatting, and I have to go into the IT department next week to get it going. So it's going to take some time. And then from there, we're going to, market simulation right there, April 22nd. Just proceed as always. There's going to be the makeup midterm, but I don't have the time set on makeup midterm. That's April 22nd as well. And I still plan on having this guest speaker. He's from Verizon. I had to cancel him. But anyway, I'm planning on bringing him in virtually right here. Our marketing plans due are the 29th. And all on, up here, if you guys haven't figured this out already, this is what I tell you in the right column you should be doing to prepare for the next week. And then, yeah, I would say based on everything I've been told right now, we're going to do our final virtual. I don't think we're going to get together again, guys. I hate to say it, but that's what it's sounding like to me. I lost my chat session too. What questions have come up?
Yeah, I think it was an announcement today that we will go virtual until the 22nd of May.
Oh, okay then. There you go. I thought the same thing. I was on the run, literally, and I thought that's what I read. So thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, we are going virtual, guys, for the rest of the semester. But I did hear that commencement graduation was still on for right now. Did you see that as well?
No, it was just about the classes that we're gonna be online until the 22nd of May.
Oh,
Announcement was
okay.
postponed. They're gonna give us updates on a later date.
Ooh, thank you for that. Were you due to graduate? I'm seeing chat now. I'm seeing a lot going on chat. Yeah, I think people, I think the commencement for the colleges I've been in the loop with, the commencement ceremonies are postponed, but you still graduate with diploma. If I see a comment here that you need a little more time on the checkpoint, I'm going to leave the deadline for this Friday because I really need as much as possible so that I can start reading them and giving you feedback for this to be meaningful. If, on the other hand, you guys can't get it done by Friday, that checkpoint that we just talked about, that high level, I'll take it. I'll still accept it through next week. You'll just have to send it to me via email. So what I'm saying to you, as many of you as possible, get it done by Friday. But if you can't get yourselves together, you can't get things, I'll take it through right before spring break. Just get it to me before spring break, okay? Because I need spring break to read over everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as I get it by spring break, I should be fine. But as many of you as possible, if you got something going, just send it to me. It's not going to hurt your 10 points. Either way, you're going to get the 10 points. I just need as many as possible as fast as you can get them to me. The final submission is supposed to be an essay form. Yeah, you're right. The final submission, your final group plan will be essay form. The checkpoint's just bullets. So checkpoint, very, very high level. Don't sweat that at all. bullets. Final submission is all written out. The final will not be cumulative. And your exam will be, it won't be for the whole day. It'll be during class hours. Any other questions? Got a lot coming up on. Are you guys, is there anything on the agenda, the syllabus that we should talk about? Oh, the guest speaker, I'm just going to let him Zoom in. I'll send the invite to him and he'll Zoom his happy face. He does Zoom all the time, so he'll be fine with that. Are you guys, have you been able to activate your Zoom accounts, by the way? Do you like them?
Yes. Yeah, I've been able to.
Cool. Was it, does it just restrict you to 45 minutes or something like that? The free Zoom? You know,
No,
through your,
I was actually
no
able to-
restrictions?
It was free for the most part. I was able to use Zoom for the market sim with my partner.
Oh, cool. Did it work okay?
Worked fine. I was able to screen share. And
Awesome. You're Zoomer pros now. Let me ask this class. I need to ask you to send out in a chat to me if your team has lost any members, or maybe you didn't have that many to begin with. I have one more student in our class that needs to go to one or two that needs to go into a team. Can you chat it out to me who they should contact? If you don't want to put your email in the chat, don't worry. I have your email. But if you could just tell me your, and if you guys would rather talk to your team first and send me an email later, that's fine with me too. I'm not seeing any chats. You guys must be wanting to talk to your team members first, huh? You guys, just don't forget to send me an email if you could use one or two more members, and I'd like to pair them up. I think I have one or two from our class that needs a team. So we are still doing video book. You know, video book is always online, so that's never stopped. Really, when you think about it, nothing in our assignments have stopped. It's just the deadlines I've had to move around. But your video book should continue, depending on what chapter we're going to be talking about. You guys should be doing that all along. What other questions? So yeah, you know, and now that I got iClicker going, we're going to go back to iClicker and we'll play with it today. But there's, like I said, there's really been nothing that has gone away. It's just we've had to put things on pause until we got it figured out, right? So what's been working well in your other classes? I'm curious. Whiteboard out. Whiteboard. You got your annotation tools on? You guys remember how to do that?
Yeah.
What's been going well in your other classes? Less group work? For those of you not sure about, maybe you weren't in our last class, your annotation tools are right next to the top bar. And then right after that, you'll see a drop down and you click on the drop down that says annotation. Really silent, huh? Okay. Yeah, tell me what's working and tell me what's not working, because somebody just wrote here that having the lectures posted so you can watch it. That's good. Not going great on Zoom? Ooh, silent. Ooh, that's not. You guys reach out to them if they're silent on you. I can't cancel market plan or simulation, guys. We're going to make the best of it. I'll tell you this, though, and you know I've been very understanding and lenient. Oh, ISDS, not good. Laggy internet. Let me clear this out, and you guys can keep doing this on a new slate here. I'll watch these things. I'll watch market simulation. I'll watch the group project. If I see that you're struggling to get them done in some ways, just like I did with Checkpoint, I extended it another week. I'll take a new look at maybe some other things we could do to make it easier on you. But for right now, I don't want to do anything with that group project because honestly, that's kind of like the hallmark of our class. And if you do it a good job and you do, and it's a really nice project and you guys come together as a group, it's going to look very good. It's going to be something you can put on your portfolio. You can link it to your LinkedIn page, and it lays the groundwork for all your other courses. So the hallmark of marketing 351 is this group project. And market simulation, if you're struggling with that, I'll take that into account and see if there's something I can do on the grading or to make it easier for you, okay? Try to proceed, like I said, over these next 2 weeks, just try to keep going with it. And come early April, you get back from spring break, things aren't going good, I'll reevaluate, I promise. Oh, Zoom is just like 15, 20 minutes with posting lectures. trying to spend the entire class time figuring out Zoom. Are you guys laughing? What do you think? Yeah, difficult to remain motivated. Some are opening it for the whole day. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, there you go. Lots of checkpoints there. You guys love this annotation, don't you? Yeah, you know, I know that some professors are just recording the lectures, and I'm not going to do much on the lecture because I just don't think we should in this kind of format. But what I am going to do is you'll notice going forward that at least half of our class will be annotation, open discussion, sharing some ideas, because I really think it's important that we stay together and that we're talking. And but I'm not going to be lecturing during these full hours, trust me. But I want to give you enough, like for example, today we're going to talk about a worksheet. I'm going to show you a worksheet that you can use in your group projects. I'm going to be talking about the important things you need to know for those group projects, but you have the PowerPoint, you have the video book for the essence of the lecture. And when we practice for the quizzes, you'll be in much better position. Does that sound good? And by the way, I forgot to point this out to you, but in the syllabus, you'll notice if you haven't seen this yet, that, let me clear these out in case you want to put something else up here. These are good. Thank you, guys. I thought a lot about the marketing plan presentation, and what I'm going to do is the day it's due, I'm going to make it optional only. It does not, oh, thank you. It does not affect your grade at all, whether you present or whether you don't present. I'm going to open up the whole classroom to whoever wants to share their screen, and you can share something out. I'm going to let you share it out, whether you want to do a snippet from your PowerPoint or an outline or just talk. I don't care. But the bottom line is, in that one class, I want you to just share with your group, and I'm going to take turns with all of you. I'm going to give you control. some highlights from your plan, but totally optional. Because I don't want to say, let's not, come on, guys, no more political stuff. Okay, thank you. Oh, you need toilet paper? Well, here. My son brought that over, and I was going to offer it to you guys if you answer a question. Okay, I'm here to deliver. You can do that. Does that make you feel better? I really want you guys to listen to each other and get some great ideas, and it's fun to see what all the other teams did. Do you agree? Totally your call, though. Okay, so let's practice a little bit on iClicker, shall we? What else do you have? Any other questions, guys, before we get rolling? You came prepared. Yeah, you're right. That will get class participation. How do we? I don't know how you delete other drawings. I can do it, but I don't know how you do it. So any other questions before we move on, guys, on deadlines? What you should be doing over this next week? Projects? No? Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to introduce a worksheet to you. Actually, it's not a worksheet, but what it is, it's an exercise I want to do with you, because here's why. It's going to tee up all the other it's going to get you thinking about the financial metrics to consider when you're designing a project. So you're seeing that we're talking about a pricing on a new kind of air conditioner right now, right? So I want you to think about this, because as a marketer, do you remember when I said in an earlier class that as marketing, we can change pricing pretty easy. It's fast, but it's not easy in the sense that there's a lot to think about. Because I want to hear from all of you in your project about what your overall price strategy is. Not so much before you start getting into the projections on your profitability and your projected revenue. Why are you pricing? I want to hear what's in your head in your project. What is your overall thinking on your price strategy? Are you going to price, for example, are you going to price high and try to skim the market because there's nobody else out there like you, like Apple does, right? Apple is famous for that. Do you have something so unique that you can come in really high and grab the market while you can? Or are you going to come in low? Because there's so much competition, you're going to try to come out of the gate just as low as possible to grab market share. What's your overall thought on how you're pricing? Because you can do one of three things. You can price high and just skim the market. You can come out of the gate with a break-even pricing because you want to test the market. You want to see if you got a viable concept. Or you can come in low and grab the market, right? So what's your thought process on that? So to that point, I'm looking at this new kind of air conditioner that's coming out. Let's just say, put yourself in their shoes. It's the size of a shoebox. It's pretty innovative. It uses a regular AC outlet. So you know that if you price at $400, you're going to sell 1 million units. And your cost is going to be 300. But if you price at 200, you're going to sell about 10 million units, which is your plant capacity, and your standard cost will be 201. Now, why did costs go down between first scenario and second scenario? You can annotate on my slide.
Because of fixed cost.
Because of marginal cost.
Okay, explain that to everybody.
Like economies of scale. If you're producing more, than you have less cost per unit.
Economies of scale. You're absolutely right. So you're spreading your fixed cost across more units, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're absolutely right. Second scenario, notice that they came in at 200, right? And they're going to take a loss. They're going to do $1 loss. So that's, you know, so at the end of the day, when you think through this, these are the questions you're going to have to raise. What your price should be, what assumptions did you make, and what questions do you have? So let's talk about this. Here's a scenario that I want you to think about. I'm going to play around with this. I don't know how this is going to work, but I want you to think about this last row right here. I got toilet paper roll on my mind. I want you to plug in the revenue, the GP unit, GP percentage, and total GP. But let's take it one step at a time. Let's just look right here on the revenue side. What's your total revenue going to be? And I want you to annotate on the slide. Just write it in here on the revenue. You got a price right here. You can look at, see, these other two are filled in for you, so you can get an idea. Boy, somebody was fast there. Fast on the draw. Yeah. It's 8,000, right? Your price times price times your volume. Now let me clean this out. Okay. You got that right. You got 8,000. What's your gross profit per unit?
$45.
Per unit. Per unit. Your price is 100. You're selling it at 35. I mean, your cost is 35. So what's your profit going to be? Okay, we got a battle between the 65s and the 45s. So for those of you putting 65 out there, just can you annotate on there your calculation on what you did?
The sales price is $100 and the cost per unit is 35. So 100 minus 35 is 65.
Yeah, you got
80
it.
is the volume. It's the number of units you sold.
You're right. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to clear this out. Yeah, you guys have it. What's your GP, your gross profit percentage? We'll take the time. Don't rush it. Take the time to figure it out. And for those putting the 65%, can you just write out your calculation? Ooh, you guys are good. You got a lot of finance minds out there, huh? Yeah, so right here, guys. That's it. You did it. 65 divided by 100. So your GP percentage is 65%. Got it? So by the way, when you start breaking out into your group projects, I suggest you find out who on your team are your finance and your accounting people. Let them do your profitability. Make sure you guys are all in the loop because you have to be on the same page, right? You have to understand it. Play to your strengths. Play to, you know, who's a creative person on your team? Let them come up with the creative promotions. Who's your content? Who's your best writer on your team? Play to their strengths. And who's your financial mind? I think that's the beauty of a team, right? Let me clear that out. You guys got this. What's your total GP? Your total gross profit in millions? Total gross profit. And you guys who put it out there, 5,200, tell us how you got there. There you guys got it, 65 to 80 for 5,200. Perfect. You guys got this down. Look what happens on, this is kind of a funky thing though, when you guys are doing your Zoom. I can't do that. I got to get out of annotation. So look what happens when you'll figure this out when you're on Zoom. When Zoom has this really funky thing that when you change pages, your annotation stays on all the pages. The other tools, it goes away. I mean, it stays with that page. Do you know what I mean? Like WebEx and all those. But with Zoom, it carries forward. I think that's kind of weird. So anyway, that's the answer right here. So now I'll save this out on together with our lecture, so you guys will have this. Does that make sense? Did that help? And I think these basic exercises are good because it helps us think about how we should be looking at the pricing and the profitability of our business. So at the end of the day, which option would you go with to price? Would you guys go with the 400, 200, or 100? You can just circle it or annotate it. There's no right or wrong.
100.
100? Okay. Why? What's your thinking on that? You're getting the volume, right? But remember,
Getting the market share, like the volume and everything.
market share and volume is what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing you need to good answers on that. Like I said, no right or wrong. You guys are totally right on all this. But I know you didn't. You have to watch your plant capacity, right? And what you're capable of producing. Because I think that plant capacity was at the 200 level. So you bring it up, you bring your volume up by going to 200 to 100. I mean, by lowering your price from 200 to 100, you're going to 8 times your volume. So you're going to go over capacity. So you just have to find a plant that can produce for you, right? Or find some way to ramp up your own. So my point is, when you start pricing things out, there's a lot of factors that come into play. For example, there might be some of you, and I don't know if any of you were here. Oh yeah, somebody circled the 400. What are you thinking there? Whoever circled the 400, what was your thought on that? Below plant capacity? Okay. Anything else? I think Evelyn, you had the 100, right? maybe, were you thinking that maybe if you come in kind of on the high side at 400, that you might have an image that you're better than everybody else? You're trying to promote an image? Is that what you were also thinking? Do you remember pricing conveys an image? It's not just about your dollars and cents, right? It's a message you send. So I don't know if that was what you were thinking of too. Anybody else that's thinking of the 400? No? But you could, right? That could be a price strategy. I'm going to come in high. I'm going to present this image of uniqueness. I mean, doesn't Apple do that? And I'm going to control my ramp up because I'm going to price so high, I'm going to control my ramp up. Okay, let me share out a different I'm going to share something else out here. I'm going to share a different a different spreadsheet out for you. Now, this spreadsheet that I'm showing right here is in your class page. It's under your assignment. For your group assignments, you'll see it right there, called Financial Sections of a Marketing Plan. You don't have to do this. I'm just giving you this as an exercise because I think it's a good way to think about this. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care if you put any profitability ratios, PE ratios, or any other financial metrics in place, but I would hope that you at least do a projected year, 2 year, year 3. Do you see how this is projecting out? And tell us what's going to happen over the next, you could do 3 years, 5 years. And what you're going to do, what's always good to do is state your assumptions. What are your assumptions? Now, in this exercise, they're making this. Here's their assumptions. Each bottle's going to sell for $1.50. The overall population is 38,000, and the percentage that drink soda is 60%. Because this is a financial spreadsheet on a new soft drink that's coming out. And here's their other projections. So you're going to make all these projections. So if you're a food truck, you're coming out, you're going to project what your target audience is. You're going to project what your average purchase price is, right? You're going to make all these projections. And you're going to say right here, without my program, that my market share is going to be this, 2%, 3%, 5%. You can make this up. This is, if you're doing your own company, you're going to have to make these numbers up. Now, without my program in place, let's just say you have a new, it's not a new product, it's been out quite a while, but you're going to put a whole new online distribution strategy in place, right? Let's just make that up. But with this new program, your market share is going to jump to 3, 5, and 7. So this is what this exercise does for you. You can plug in these numbers, and here's right here, this is your cost of putting this program in place. So if you're putting in an online distribution strategy, now think about what your cost buckets might be. What are your cost buckets for an online distribution? R&D, patent, technology, labor. Do you see what I mean? You're going to have to come up with all your buckets, and then factor them over the next 3 years. So do you see how they're coming up pretty high in year 1, but in year 2 and 3, their costs go down, right? Because in year 1, you're probably doing development costs. Make sense? And then from there, you scroll down into your analysis without your program right here, and then with the program. So what I did here is I highlighted only those rows that are going to change. Everything else stayed the same. But what changed here was your percentage of share, right? Without the program, remember what we said, your share goes 2, 3, and 5, and then that's the resulting volume. And if you play through these numbers, you'll see how it changes. There's your revenue, and there's your gross profit per unit. And this changes right here. At the end of the day, there's your gross profit for all 3 years without the program. And here's where it comes in at 364,800. Now, if I did the program, what you guys are putting in place here, if I did the program, remember these highlighted rows are the only ones that are changing here. That's where my share, my market share is going up. And that's what my new volume is. There's my new volume. Because I put this online distribution strategy, I gained more market share, right? So here's my new volume, here's my new revenue, and here's my new gross profit. And at the end of the day, with this new program, here's my total gross profit at 802. And if I took out my cost, here's where I stand, right here at 684. That's my total profit with my program I'm putting in place. So that's what's called a return on marketing initiative or a return on initiative. But in this case, you're putting in a marketing initiative. So it's an ROMI. And at the end of the day, you just want to say, is your program worth it or not? Should they implement it? Yes or no? Because if remember, if you're working, you're in a Shark Tank environment, you're coming and you're going to try to get funding, they're going to ask you, what's your projected revenue? Now, I've been getting a lot of questions on this. I don't know how to project. That I don't have any data. It's a privately held company, or I've got data, but it only goes through 2018. And I've been telling students, it doesn't have to be exact. You can guesstimate something. You're gonna, if you don't have, for example, if it's a publicly held company and you don't know what their profitability so far has been in 2019, just say that at the beginning. Say, numbers we're showing are only based on data through 2018, no public data available after that. However, we're projecting, because of what we're doing, that their revenue will grow by 10%. Do you see what I mean? You're going to have to get creative on this. Any questions? No? You guys unmute and let me know if anything's coming up. You think you can do this? Does this help? Does this worksheet help? Oh, somebody said this is great. Yeah, feel free to annotate on top. I'm fine with that. So, like I said, a lot of guesses come into play. Let's just say you're the service business, right? And I'm not going to look at if you're writing a marketing plan in a real company world, they're going to look at your numbers and you're going to present to the senior board, maybe, and they're going to poke holes in it. They're going to say, well, why are you projecting 5% increase? What are you basing that on? I'm not going to poke holes in that as long as it's reasonable. The only thing I'm looking for is, because you will get challenged a lot, in a corporate world, you'll get challenged and you have to defend it, right? It's all about defending your position. But what I'm looking for, is it reasonable? Does it make sense? So in other words, if you're a service company and you're not projecting, you're in a food truck, and you're projecting no labor, you're projecting your food, you're projecting your truck, but you have no labor on a service, I'm going to question that. Or if you're going to project 20% growth over the next 3 years, and you're not new to the position, there's a lot of competition out there, I might question that too and say, how in the world are you getting 20% growth in a competitive market? Do you see what I mean? So it's got to be reasonable, and it has to make sense. Oh, is this on titanium? Yes, it's under, let me show you where it is. This helps out a lot. Good, good. Let me show you where it's at. I'm going to quit sharing that. How are you guys doing your finance and accounting classes, by the way?
Pretty good so far. All the lectures are just recorded though.
Oh, they're all pre-recorded?
Yes.
Hmm. I gotta find our got so many. Interesting. I had an accounting professor call me yesterday. He was trying to get up with Zoom. Is it really challenging when it when you in a finance class when you have pre-recorded lectures? Oh, Brian, why was it horrible?
You can't ask questions.
You couldn't ask questions?
Yeah, well, you have to like email the professor after. It's not like this where we can like ask you a question while the.
Oh. Oh no, but I mean the quiz. I thought you said the quiz was horrible.
Oh no, I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I would think especially accounting, they have to allow for a lot of questions, wouldn't you think, as they work through problems and stuff?
Carlos didn't say it. Brian typed it in the chat.
Pardon me?
Well, I said Carlos didn't mention the quiz. Brian's the one who mentioned it in the chat. He said the
Oh,
noise
gotcha.
during the quiz actually made it difficult for him to take the quiz.
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Okay. Gotcha. I'm going to show you. I'm getting back to my home page in just a minute, guys. I had to sign back into it. I had too many windows open, so I'll be there in just a minute because I want to show you where that is. Okay, almost there. Too many windows up. Okay. Now I've got it. There it is. Okay. It's right here under assignments and then go to group marketing plan. When you go to group marketing plan, I put under the assignment section everything you need for that. So right here is the financial section of a marketing plan. These other things, here's your group project cover form and everything else you need. Here's the instructions. A lot of this is supplemental. And as we go through various chapters, you're going to take a look at this and you're going to say, oh, okay, I might be able to, for example, when it comes, I would expect that you would all have a social channel, social media strategy, not just traditional advertisement. You would think you would all have some kind of social media. So this is going to help you. But this is where that financial section comes into play. Does that help? So let me go back to my screen. I'm going to try to do this a little different. So what are you guys seeing right now? I think you're still seeing our syllabus, right? I mean, our class page? No?
Marketing plan.
You are? Okay. What I'm going to do is get out of these exercises, and I'm going to flip up our PowerPoint for today because I want to try to do some iClickers with you. Are you guys seeing the iClicker question now? And can you see the floating toolbar for iClicker?
Yes, we see the iClicker.
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you. Hey, we did it. Number 1. What is the lowering? I think I've opened it. I think so. When you
I don't
lower
know
the-
how to. I don't know how to log in on iClicker outside school. Can I still do that?
Ooh, say that again, Vitor.
How do I log in on an iClicker when I'm not on campus? It's asking me for an access code.
I don't have GPS enabled, so it shouldn't be.
Let me see if I can show you. Mine shows entry. Oh, I was on the wrong code. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
No worry.
Okay, now I'm in.
I got. Ooh, you know what? I think this is working. I'm surprising myself.
Okay.
What do you think is a lowering of the total cost per unit as output increases, and as a result of the decrease in fixed cost per unit? What is that? What's that principle that it's talking about? Most of you are on laptops, right? So you got your phone for your iClicker? Okay.
Yep.
So we got 78 voting in. 80, 81. So you guys are you're seeing the floating iClicker toolbar on top? Okay, cool.
Yep.
I'm not giving iClicker points this week. I want to test it out, and then we'll get back into it when we get back together next Wednesday. We'll start then. I just want to make sure it works. 86. Cool. Let's see what you did. I'm going to stop it right now. So you guys got in there. You're good. Okay, it is economies of scale. That's a principle. That's what the whole point is, right? To scale and to spread out your fixed costs, and maybe on your variable costs, put some efficiencies in place. So maybe even drive down your variable costs. For you guys who are finance majors, would you agree with me? Okay. Because I think on your variable, that's the only real way to drive that down, right? Process improvements?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is break-even pricing?
The polling's not open.
Oh, sorry. Just like in real class, you guys would always have to yell at me. Break even. Remember we said we're going to come out with break even sometimes, maybe? You know what? I just thought about what's hard. Go ahead.
Are nonprofits, do they exercise break-even pricing, or
I'm sorry, did who emphasize break even?
do nonprofits like use break-even?
Nonprofit? No, that's a really good question. I've never worked for an NPO, I have to assume they operate just like a for-profit in the sense they want to optimize their revenue, because the more revenue they make, the more people they can serve, the more services they can provide. So no, I don't think they would just go for break even. I think they'd want to make, the only difference is with what they do with their revenue, right? That was a great question though. Riley, I think there's a chat out. You sent out what chapter? We're on chapter 19. Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for answering. Yeah, let's see what you guys have here. It means, yeah, I gotta float this. It means not making any profits or losses. That's the bottom line. C is going to focus on making enough profits to justify a return. Again, that's break even means you don't care about profit. You're just going to cover your costs. That's it. This is a concept on your pricing chapter that's in your pricing chapter. I'm sure it's covered in your video book, and it's important for you to know. It's measured by a change in demand for a unit, change in price. You guys who are finance majors are finding this incredibly boring, aren't you? And marketing, you have a lot of marketing executives, majors who are content people and they're creative people. And I think I was one of those people. Financials are important because the buck stops with them. That's why you have a chapter on pricing. Remember, pricing is one of your 4 Ps, right? So it usually, when you price your product or service, the buck stops with the chief marketing officer. Having said that, she or he will probably have a financial analyst or 2 reporting into them, and they'll report dotted line to the CFO. But at the end of the day, they own pricing because it impacts a lot more than profitability, right? It's your whole image of your goods, market share. So you guys got this. I'm sure you did. And it is the elasticity of demand. Elasticity of supply would be the other concept, measured by a change in supply for a unit change in price. And this is our last one for today. What are payments? Payments made to your channel partners. So performing different actions that marketers want. So if I'm marketing for Procter & Gamble and I have a new dish soap and my distributors don't want to carry it, or my retailers don't want to put it on their shelf, or they're pushing back a bit, my shelves are too crowded and this is just another Me Too product. What are you going to have to pay those people? They're going to ask for payment. What's that called? Especially Walmart. Walmart is really good at this, and they call it slotting fees. They're going to ask you for some money. So when we say channel members, those are people in your supply chain. You guys in the supply chain world, you know about this, right? What are you going to have to pay them? We can get creative on this, but I'm thinking legally pay them. What's that called? Think of your supply chain. Yeah, you circled it. You got it right. It's trade allowances. So there we go. We did iClicker. We won, right? Yay! You guys did great. Thank you for playing along with that. I'm not going to go into our chapter. You guys have this online, but I do want to leave you with just one concept you really need to think about. And we might brush through it. And it has to do with, let me get this out of our way. What are your price determinants of demand and cost? What goes into it? So this is important because these are all the factors you're going to need to know when you set your prices. Are for example, are your large customers demanding? Are they going to push your prices down like a Walmart? If you're going to go into Walmart or Costco, they're going to try to push your prices down, right? Your distribution strategy. If you're online or if you're on the shelf, that's going to influence your price. What's your promotional strategy? Are you guys going to offer? Now, when you think your price strategy, think about your everything that goes into it. Are you going to offer buy one, get one free? Are you going to offer a trade discount, volume discount? Are you going to have a guarantee? This all is part of price. So don't think of price just like the price you're going to set. And great question on the nonprofit too. Think of if you're from a nonprofit perspective as well. How are you going to get the word out? Think of the impact of the internet and extranet on your pricing and what stage in the life cycle. Because if you're coming out new to market or if you're in a mature market, that really does influence. You're going to have to come down on your price as you start to go into decline, right? So just know all these factors. And I think one of the most important things you can remember is what's happening a lot today, of course, is the relationship of price to quality, because a lot of our society is becoming more in tune to that, and they're starting to realize that higher price is often denotes a certain level of quality. What's happening right now? What's happening right now on all of these with the coronavirus events? Which influence do you think is coming into play more than ever on pricing? With the crisis we're in more than ever? Because companies probably aren't playing on customer loyalty right now as much, right? They're not trying to offer you deals to keep coming back. They don't have to offer you deals to keep coming back in certain areas. But what do you see going on? Oh yeah, demands of large customers. Distribution is huge. I mean, can we effectively get the goods and markets out there in time? Yeah, so you got a lot of factors going in. So I'm going to leave you with that. We won't talk again until next Wednesday, but you guys know how to find me. Quick email, unmute. I'm going to unmute you all so that you can offer up anything. We're going to have a lot of background noise on, so maybe I should have done that.
Napkins. Not that bad.
I think I'm going to go back to mute. I'm going to go back to mute. Unmute if you want to say anything. But just remember to that, I'm an email away if anything comes up. And take good care of yourself and others around you, and carry on. If you have good toilet paper, you have everything, right?
It's our new form of currency.
Your new form of currency. So I was I'll send you this picture later. I was driving down Bellflower in Long Beach, and there was an auto repair shop that says we now accept toilet paper for payment. I swear to you.
Wow.
Yeah, times are tough out here.
So it's happening, guys. It's getting real on us, right? It's getting real. So take good care of yourselves out there, okay? Let me know if you need anything, and we'll talk next Wednesday.
One question.
You too, Professor.
Yeah, go
Take
ahead.
care.
Thank you.
You betcha. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So I know
And I'll stay here if anybody wants to chat.
Sorry, I just had a question. So I know our exam date was moved, but do you know how we're going to be taking it online?
Oh, there's your doggy. How cute. I'm sorry. I love that little doggy back there. It's going to be online through Titanium quiz function.
Copy. Thank you.
Uh-huh. What's your dog's name, David? What's his name? He
Rocky.
went Rocky. He's
Yeah,
cute.
Rocky.
He's cute.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well, I think that's it.
You're good for now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves and let me know if you need anything, okay?
Thank you, Professor. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.